What is going on, guys? Hopefully you are doing well on this fine Wednesday evening. We have a lot to go ahead and walk you guys through today about landing page actual detailing, okay? Landing page copy, as well as landing page structure and full-on audits as to how you should actually carry out and create your landing pages for optimal conversion rates. What you want to go ahead and do is definitely watch the entire video. You'll be very happy you did, and definitely leave a like as well if you've received any value at all from this video. Thank you guys so much for all the support as well that you've been showing from the last few weeks and months of us posting. We're definitely going to go ahead and keep it up and start posting, more even incredible content for you guys as well. So thank you guys so much again. Watch the whole video, write, everything down, take notes, and leave a like as well. And make sure you watch to the end. See you guys at the end of the video. Okay, we're going to be starting with a landing page audit and going over some certain criteria as to what needs to be fixed and what, is really proper when it comes down to creating a high converting landing page, right? Now, at the end of the day, right, the most sexiest landing page will not make a losing product a winner, right? So it's super, super important to make sure that when you're looking for your items that you find an actual product that gets consistency, because no matter what, your landing page will not make a difference and make a losing product a winner. Okay, so product research is always the core of what we are doing here at BSF, as you guys know, as what we're doing here in dropshipping and e-commerce. Okay, so product research, as you guys know, is the core fundamental of business. But when you have that product, which a lot of us do, you then get to have some fun with changing and editing and seeing what's going on your landing page to get the highest conversion rate possible. I want to go over a few points here. Okay, so first and foremost, right, one thing that I noticed on your site is that obviously this means what. Right? A lot of people are not going to really understand what that means. You want to, explain what the difference in the wattage is in your actual copy. Okay? Because people are going to have a very difficult time saying, oh, should I get 72 or 90? They don't know. Most people don't understand. Okay? So you want to make sure that you are explaining what each different actual watt means. Okay? Half the battle with moving forward and making sure people are actually buying from you is having them understand what you're selling. If they're not understanding what you're selling, you're literally not going to make any sales, okay? So you need to make it as transparent and as easy to follow as humanly possible for each individual consumer, which is a massive, massive point. And what you need to do is make sure they are at a complete understanding with your variants. Because if you have like 3 to 5 variants and there's not a clear understanding of what's going on here, you're going to confuse your consumer. Well, you are in the know. You know what each difference in watt means. Your consumers don't. So while you're sitting here probably not even thinking about, it's a problem, that could be a massive problem. You want to make sure your variants are very, very, transparent, straightforward, and people are actually understanding what they're buying and what they're thinking about actually purchasing. Okay. Now, what I want you to also understand is a lot of the time when we're creating landing pages like this, guys and gals, okay, it's important for us to have consumer quote testimonials near the top of the actual description. Okay, this has been working very, very well because automatically you're kind of reaffirming into the consumer's mind that this item is worth it. This item has positive reviews. People like this item. You want to give people FOMO. Okay, FOMO is what leads to people buying your product. Okay, and you want to understand that with, if there's a lot of other people who are enjoying the item, right, other people are going to want to buy it as well. That's how humans work. Okay, people don't like to go ahead and not have something that others have. And that's how you need to kind of think about, formatting your offer moving forward. And, as you go through and create your descriptions and you have your 3 concept descriptions, which is, decently proper, you want to make sure you start off with the quote at the top. That is going to trigger that portioning in their mind to make them want to go ahead and purchase. They're going to have a reaffirmation that it's a good product, and they're going to go ahead and want to be, part of the bandwagon of people who are purchasing it. So first thing you want to put in their mind is that others are loving it. I must love it too. Okay. Now, it's also important that you understand that you also have direct questions, okay, to consumers on here. Now, when you're having direct questions to consumers, Facebook actually doesn't like that. And oftentimes this could lead to ad account bans. Okay. Questions, rhetorical questions and then answers are proper. But typically when you're asking repetitive questions on a landing page or an ad copy, lately Facebook has been banning ad accounts for that. And I don't hear many people talking about that. So I wanted to bring that up today on today's session because this is also a thing on your landing page. Okay, questions are good, but you want to have, the answers to them, released below. Okay, so it's super, super important that when you have questions listed, you also have, typically somewhat of an answer underneath, okay? Because Facebook has been banning for putting just straight up questions with no actual answer underneath, okay? Because you're kind of just misleading and adding confusion. That's giving the consumer a poor experience, okay? So that's super important, something that people don't talk about. Also, on this actual landing page, and I was going through it, Mohammed, there are some grammar issues. I want you to download the app Grammarly. And I want you to go ahead and go through all this copy again and see where Grammarly highlights the actual mistakes, because there is some mistakes that need to be addressed here that will be highlighted with Grammarly. Okay, now also down here you have your bullet points, which is phenomenal. Okay, you always like to have your bullet points, like you have how will Swift nail dryer completely change your life? You want to explain and expand on your bullet points here. It's super important that you don't just list, but you list and then explain. So after each one of these, you should have a dash and 2 to 3 sentences explaining how and why this is fact. Okay, you need to go a bit more in depth. Why is this harmless? How is it hassle-free? How is it pain-free? Okay, what about the product is going to make you achieve the salon outcome from your own home? It's super, super important you guys make sure that you're doing this, because people like depth. People like explanation and people like ease. And if you're not explaining that to these people and you're not going in depth, you're just giving them a 50,000 foot overview, they're not going to buy from you. Okay, they're not going to go into your store. They're going to look at your store, but they're not going to go in the depths of buying and adding it to cart. You need to actually add more depth to your bullet points here, brother. Okay, also, we need to have, I don't see, a video on this particular, landing page. Oftentimes, and most of the time when you're selling female products, female-driven products, half the time, females are going to take the word of other females. And the most driven factor that's going to have them purchase, and this is legitimate, guys and gals, you got to make sure you're adding this, is individuals, females, raving about the product, on a landing page. So if someone loads the landing page, they're going to see other females talking about how much they like the product. That is massively, massively important and needs to be addressed for this landing page. Okay, when you're selling female products, people, specifically females, rely on other females' feedback before buying something. Okay, talk to any female who shops online and ask if they go ahead and go through reviews, and ask other people and look at YouTube reviews or look at any other type of video review about the product. They do, and it needs to be also on your landing page. And it's not a waste to only get this made for your landing page, because also you should be using these types of reviews for your retargeting. Okay. Honestly, you're going to be having more consistent and higher conversion in return on retargeting when you're doing it with consumer testimonial retargeting. Okay, you could use the video you already have created or a different rendition, but what you're going to see more results with is the actual retargeting videos that you get made of other people talking about the product. So it's super, super, super important that you actually add that. Okay, so you have a skin cancer quote here that I found before. Okay, you want to remove the skin cancer quote. Okay, because it's not going to be giving you much positive reaffirmation. Okay, this is a bit too, a bit too much, too far. You don't want to go and really be, vulgar or too depressing or too negative when it comes to kind of trying to instill fear and whatnot. So if you could remove the actual, skin cancer portion of this, that would be best as well. That's also something that will possibly get your ad account banned as well, even if it's only on your actual landing page. Okay. Now, it's also important that you have some reviews down here as the seller, right? You want to make sure that even these, are grammatically correct as well. Okay. It took this item 1 month plus to arrive. Do not order from them. Okay, this alone is enough to make people not want to buy from you. Okay, so you need to keep up to date, and especially if you're using Luke's or a different app where you're going ahead and you're having automatic updates, it's super, super important that you keep up to date with your reviews. Okay, so I'm sure you didn't see this. You want to remove this, of course, and any other negative feedback that you have. Okay, it's very, very important that you do so with this. First, and most importantly, okay, you want to remove the actual add to cart button here. Okay, you have 2 buttons. I'd rather you just have a buy it now button, 1 button on here. It'll lessen the actual discrepancy between, which one do I choose? They'll just click this one and it'll take them to the cart page. Okay, so just remove add to cart if you could. Let's have 1 button. I want you to make this center aligned. Okay, and I also want you to make it a bit more clear and not as blurry. Okay. It's also important that you add the customer testimonial quote toward the top as well. That's been a reoccurring theme throughout the actual landing page audit today, guys, so please make that happen for me. You also want to remove the agreements, okay, that section often hide parts of your copy. Okay, so as you can see down here, this, right, you'd rather just have it all in one spot, right? All in drop down formation already. You don't want to have people like clicking and stuff. You'd rather just have them scroll down immediately. So if you could have this automatically drop down, that would be phenomenal. Okay. And also you need to add more images and GIFs to your copy to make it more of a pleasant read. Okay. It's kind of, just text, which is great, but I'd rather you have more organization. And if you could, an actual consumer testimonial video on this landing page as well. That would really drive the point home. Okay, you also need to add reviews. I recommend using Luke's reviews, Loox reviews. Okay, Luke's reviews. You also want to go ahead and move your shipping details to the shipping and FAQ page. You don't really want to necessarily have it on here, right? You could just have it on your shipping details page, right? So I would remove it from the actual product page and move it to your shipping details page, which would be phenomenal. As you can see here, there is no consumer testimonial quote at the top of the copy. Okay, I know I drill this stuff into your guys' brain very, very often, and I'm going to continue to do so because now it's second nature for me, and I'm going to make it second nature for you guys. Okay, always consumer quote at the top of your actual description, because what will this do? Can you guys remember what this is going to do? Type down below, what is this going to do? I want to see if you guys actually understand it. What does putting a positive review at the top of the description tell the consumer? What does it do to the mind? Yes, Ramiz had it right. Positive affirmation, Panajote. Yes, FOMO. Okay, by human nature, we automatically want to do what other people like, what other people commend, what other people enjoy. Okay, so positive affirmation is good. Just like people say to go ahead and say, we can do this, I can do this, you can do this, right? That's positive affirmation. It's giving you a subconscious thought that you could go ahead and make it happen, which is going to impact your, physical actual actions. Same thing happens here. You need to impact these people's physical actions on their laptop by giving them positive affirmations and having them starting to form a positive bias. Can anyone else remember where a positive bias is also used, in which portion of our system it's also used? Where else is positive bias also used? Yes, video, okay? Positive affirmation, okay? And having people form a positive bias before they have the opportunity to form a negative one. Okay, Luca, so these things that you're hearing here, my friend, are things that we really understand at the core level of BSF. All of these things is emotional and are also logical. And as you'll start to see, not only a landing page audit, not only in video creation, but all of these things are kind of continually used in the entire process that is e-commerce, that is landing page creation, my friend. Now, Mike, the copy's not following our BSF structure. Okay, so I like what you got here. Okay, but you should be following the 3 concept description: pitch, 5 to 8 bullet point benefits, and then relatable story. Okay, there's no pitch here. And it pitches 5 to 8 sentences. You're talking about why it's the greatest product in the world. If you're going to walk into a room, you only had 5 to 8 sentences to sell the entire auditorium on the product, that's what you would say. Okay, so that's your pitch initially, followed by 5 to 8 bullet points, which you got here. But just like I said to Mo, you have to go ahead and explain this on a deeper level. You have to go ahead and go more in depth with your bullet points, my friend, followed by a relatable story. Yeah, I like what you got here. Okay, so you definitely went more in depth here. Okay, but I would try, if you're gonna just have this, you might as well scrap this and just keep this because you went in depth, and then put a relatable story underneath. And another thing, guys, you don't want to go ahead and overload your description. Okay, enough is enough, right? Sometimes less is more, but you want to follow the actual description format like we're talking about. So Mike, we have actually pitch, bullet point, okay, benefits, as well as our relatable story underneath. Okay, you are missing a in-depth relatable story, okay, but you do have your bullet points pretty much in depth. I would either remove this in all or add to this and add it to your additional bullet points down here, okay, and then you need to add an additional actual pitch. And you also need to, Mike, change this trust badge out, because it's just blurry as hell, and automatically when I look at this, I know it's someone trying to drop ship. So because it's blurry, because no one in their right mind is going to have anything that's blurry on their site. So please take this out and make it not blurry. Okay. Now also the formatting, coloring is not the most attractive here, right? The pink, I like it. but I wouldn't really go ahead and try to hit on so many, like you got green, you got pink, you got blue, you got black, right? I would go ahead and just stick with maybe just blue and pink, right? I wouldn't, go ahead and, have all this extra green, and whatnot. Ultimately, I might even swap out these green check marks for black bullet points, right? Just because there's so much coloring here. Or you could just eliminate the pink, as a whole, and just have green and blue. But I don't want you to have like 3 or 4 colors like this, because this makes it super unorganized. Okay, I actually did something similar today. As I was writing out my whiteboard today for one of our lessons, I wrote it in like 10 different colors, and that confuses people, and it's very, very true. So you want to kind of stick with only like 1 or 2 colors on this, honestly. Also, this video is towards the top, which is great, but we also want it really toward the bottom. So move the video toward the bottom for me, please. It'll make everything look a lot more congruent, and it will. I'm telling you, it will definitely look better. Okay, and it's super, super important that if you could change this to green, that you do so. Okay, this is black. It's not the end of the world, but I would prefer that this is green if you could make it to green. Yeah, you see this? This is top sellers. This is also what I'm calling a hole in the funnel, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, whenever you have this and you don't have a consistent product, sending consistent market niche traffic, this is a hole in the funnel. Someone loads this, and automatically they're going ahead and they're going to scroll down. I'm like, oh, wow, I like this. They'll click this. You lost your sale. What is going on, guys? Hopefully you enjoyed that incredibly thorough walkthrough of the actual landing page structure that we utilize here at Beyond Six Figures. It's important you follow each of these points, because this is how we consistently maintain to get high conversion rate. Usually above the industry average of 1.8%, toward 2 to 5%. That's where you should be aiming for. And a lot of the time, much higher than that as well, closer to 8 to 10% as well. So, make sure you follow all of these points here, get a high conversion rate, because it makes your job as a marketer and a media buyer much easier.